You never know what you might run into. Welcome to College Park, Maryland, SECU Stadium, better known as the Snake Pit and home of the Terps. As we'll see a participant from last year's playoff, the UCLA Bruins, taking on the Maryland Terrapins. Glad to have you with us for EA Sports College Football. I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack and Jesse Palmer with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to tee it up.
Come on.
The Bruins will kick it away first. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So Maryland's offense will take the field first. Connect on the throw. It's incomplete.
In football, you hear the term quick, but don't hurry. And you could tell when you run these RPOs, the QBs want to make that decision quick. And I think he hurried it a little bit too much. Got the ball out quick, but obviously was inaccurate on his pass.
The Terrapins moving quickly to the line. Dropping back, it's short. Quickly out to the tight end. Doesn't quite make it to the first down marker. He's a yard short. And the Terrapins line up to punt it away. Getting our first look of the afternoon at the punter. He gets it up to the 34-yard line before he stopped, and that's where the offense will set up shop. The Bruins offense will try to get something going with their first possession. Last week was a tape they'd rather just put right in the dumpster and forget about it. David, how does a guy bounce back from a game like the one he had last week?
Well, hopefully he burned that tape because that was not pretty. That was not what they're wanting to do, man. Just turning the football over, not enough productive plays. And so how do you bounce back? How do you get started in this football game? Jesse, make it easy. Get him in a rhythm. Don't make it very complicated. Don't give him a chance to turn it over again. You don't need to put this losing streak to another digit in the column.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was two big things. I think, one, he was just pressing. He was trying to force the big play to happen when there were other completions to be had. So he's just got to do a better job being patient. And I think the guys around him also have to step up as well. They need to run the football. They need to get that controlled passing game going on early to get into a rhythm, as you said, to help this guy get into a good headspace here early and turn the page from what happened last time.
Here's a quick throw out to the left. All the way down to the 27-yard line before they get him out of bounds, and this offense is threatening. And the Bruins come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Running back searching for a hole. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
And, man, it's nice to have a guy that is just better than your guys. And no matter what play you call, man, how about him getting in the backfield quick, penetrating, using his quickness, and using his strength to get him to the ground. That is a ball.
Well, this defense knew coming in they were going to see some RPO. They were going to see some quick game. A nice job there taking the throw away from him.
On third and long, no secret what he needs here. This one's not working, he'll just throw it away. It's fourth down, and they'll try the field goal. And this field goal attempt will be a 48-yarder and not straight on from the left side. Knocked it right through, showing that big range from 48 yards out.
And this guy has been a machine all season long. He is absolutely automatic. You know you're getting 3 points when this guy jogs on the field.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Maryland has the ball back, and the Terrapin offense ready to go. They went 3 and out on their first possession. possession now to see if they can be more productive this time around. Just not quite able to make the connection. It's incomplete. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. Surges across the 30, out to the 32, a 6-yard run. The Terrapins want to crank the tempo. To the air, it's short. Finds the tight end. He gets it oh so close to the first down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch short.
One of the things I love about this defense is they just have such great awareness, and they're always communicating. They understood the down and distance. They knew exactly what they needed to do to make the tackle to force the punt. That is so well done.
He'll make the fair catch, but there is a flag on the field. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. So the offense keeps this drive alive thanks to the roughing the punter penalty. Motion from the back. He's got it on the right. And a good job of coverage by that defense. Just a short pickup. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down. Motion from the wide receiver. Back to pass. Just missed on the connection. Incomplete. After the 2nd down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. From the gun, wants to pass. Short throw to the sideline is complete, and he's out of bounds after picking up a couple.
All right, the offense wanted a first down there, but they got the completion, and now it sets up a 4th down situation where it's manageable. I can accomplish it, and yes, I'm going for it.
Punt goes out of bounds, and a really nice job as they stick them deep in their own end. They'll mark it around the 10. The UCLA offense is back on the field, ready to go to work. So they've put up some early points, and now to build on this 3-0 lead.
Well, the defense watched film last week. They saw this running back catch multiple passes, and that hasn't been the case today. They are clamping down on him, always aware of him, especially in the passing game. So far, they've taken him away.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not opening up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
The offense has it 1st and 10 from their own 20.
And that's a great sign for this offense because this year, we know there's been a little bit of inconsistency, and I think the biggest problem has been 3rd down. Right there, nice job executing, running the ball, picking up the first, and keeping this drive alive.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line 2nd and 7. And they can't connect, but the flag flies, and I think this is going to be pass interference.
And the defender just way too handsy on that last play. You could see all the contact as the ball was in the air. He simply can't do it, and the referee's caught it.
The Bruins will line it up on 1st and 10. Thomas back to pass. He wants to take the top off. He's got it inside the 25. Touchdown, Bruins! He broke away from the defense, and they couldn't catch him.
Really nice job working the route and getting himself open. He was able to locate the football, snag it out of the air, and this guy now has 5 receiving touchdowns on the year.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They'll go back to work trying to get something going after a couple of punts the first 2 times they've had it. Quickly to the tight end. They'll spot the ball at the 34 as he goes out of bounds right there. And the Terrapins are in the hurry up.
And that's why QBs love their tight ends so much, right? Especially when they're athletic, because they make short throws turn into long gains. Because of his ability after the catch, it's so unique and special. He is dominant in this offense.
Tell you what, that was a lightning fast decision. You could tell he knew what he wanted to do right away, makes the decision, but Maybe his footwork wasn't a little bit good, and the pass wasn't where he wanted to put that thing. I know that.
On third and short, they keep it on the ground here. Breaks into the open. And the big gain, they've got it on the 46. The Terrapins, after exploding for that huge run, back to work.
Yeah, third and one, you know they're running the football. It's just a matter of who's getting it and where they're going. But this offense, it really didn't matter. Nice job up front, nice execution. Picking up not only the one, making it an even bigger play and getting the first down.
Gets it all the way inside the 20-yard line to the 19 before being hauled down. Leaves it with the running back.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
They'll move the wide receiver. They'll run play action. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, you'll need to push it downfield. And he feels the heat coming, and it burns him up. Another sack. Here comes the field goal unit as they'll try to take the 3. That thing would have hit a string in the middle of the uprights. Perfect. This is now a 7-point game. So after the made field goal, they'll kick it away and rely on their defense. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17. Hand off to the single back. Makes the tackle. Picks up the first down. Brought down at the 28, but it's a 10-yard gain. That's the end of the quarter, and UCLA has the lead. And we've come to the end of one, and let's take a quick moment to catch up on the stats. Lots of time left, and we're ready to get back to it and open the second period. So they'll go back to work after changing ends of the field. They'll go to the ground. Creates a little room. Turning it off. He goes out of bounds, maybe a step shy of the 40. They're going to mark it at the 39, and a really nice pickup there. They'll snap it from the 39, first and 10. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again. And they'll shove him out of bounds after the short gain.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
On the run, it's Ramsey. Creating some space, getting just enough good blocking, and they've got it up to the 47-yard line.
And those plays from a defensive perspective, man, they're just super annoying because now I'm in the worst spot ever. Third and manageable. Like, I don't know if you're passing, don't know if you're running, so nice job by this offense keeping this defense off balance and creating a third down opportunity that's in their favor.
I think to be a good third down offense, guys, you've got to be able to run the football. You're going to come upon these third and short situations multiple times throughout the course of the year, but you've got to be able to get push up front, and it helps when you have a talent like that to turn around and hand the football off to.
Not many receivers like to get hit. They just don't, okay? They're prima donnas. That's what they are. That's who they are. Nice job by the defender. You could tell he was catching the football. He was going to put a hit on him to make sure he had to think about something later, and you could see the ball come
use his speed, get to the ball carrier, and bring him down. Simply one of the best box defenders you're going to find in the entire country.
That'll be enough for the first down as they mark it down at the 31-yard line. And the Bruins come to the line with a new set of downs. Out of the gun, the running back has it. There he goes. Makes the tackle right at the 21-yard line. Pickup of 10 on the play, and this offense is threatening with a first down. Quarterback adjusting the pattern. The Bruins pounded the rock to move the sticks, now back to work. Trying to beat him to the corner on the right. Knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line. The big run's going to make it first and goal. New set of downs right on the doorstep for this offense. They'll dial up the run on first and goal. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a second and long coming. He's going for the goal line. And he'll haul it in and take it to the end zone. Touchdown, UCLA. That touchdown gives his team a pretty significant lead at this point.
And that's what you want. You want to start fast. You want everything to come out and start clicking, make some plays. It doesn't always work that way, but when you do, man, the energy, the crowd, everybody's into it. Now the other team better respond.
Maryland has the ball back and the Terrapin offense ready to go. They've been pretty much stifled on offense so far, David, only able to muster 3 points in their previous 3 drives.
And you got to find a way to open this up and create some explosive plays. The passing game is obviously the easiest way. Jesse, put more speed on the field, find those guys down the field.
You know they're frustrated, too, because they felt like there were some matchups they could take advantage of to get some points on the board early. In this one, they just haven't been able to connect on those opportunities. But I like David's idea. Maybe move some guys around and see if you can create some better one-on-one matchups.
And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Probably the toughest call on the play sheet. 3rd and long. Ball's at the 25. Looking downfield, it's short. Fires to the right. He's straight to the field. They finally get to him. And what a play there to pick up the first down.
Well, we know this guy is special, and because of that, his quarterback is looking to him on critical down and distances. There on that 3rd down, there was no question. It wouldn't have mattered if he was single covered, double covered, man, zone. That's where he was going with it, and the big-time playmaker outside picks up the first.
Lost the fire on 2nd down. That, friends, is a busted play. Incomplete.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
He lost one down the sideline. Catching stride inside the 15. And the Terrapins racing to the line in the hurry-up. Give to the running back. He works his way all the way down to the 3, and the defense is reeling. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down.
Here we go.
Defense showing heavy blitz at the line. The give to the running back from the shotgun. Couldn't quite nudge it in. Not sure you could get much closer, but it'll be 1st and goal. The Terrapins kept this drive moving on the ground. Now back to work. Keeping it on the ground on 1st and goal. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
And this is an area of the field, man, who can be more physical. And you know I'm going to run the football a lot of times on these goal-to-go situations. 1st and goal, can I be physical? Can I get closer? The defense won that physical battle. Interested to see now if the offense thinks they can still run, or do they go to the passing game?
Here we go.
They'll run it. And there was nowhere to go. Just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
And this guy has been a dominant force early in this game. We're still in the first half. He already has a sack. He gets a tackle for loss there. He's playing so well with his eyes right now. He's reading his keys, and he's letting his God-given ability put him in the backfield to make these plays.
Oh, they're after him. And the Heat gets there. And they get him down at the 14-yard line. Now on fourth down, they'll send out the field goal unit. Absolutely center cut. Now the lead is down to 11. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Guys, a couple of Mountain West teams colliding in a game that could have some implications. Baylor is getting its clock clean today. That crowd was chanting "sick 'em" in the pregame, but they're saying some other things right now. They're trailing by 14 to BYU. The moment something changes in this Mountain West fight, you will hear about it too. Back to you guys.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. And the Bruins in a good spot here with second and short. They think there's room to run to the right here. And he's down at the 41. That's a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Oh, he just held it poorly, and it's a fumble. And the fumble is going to go out of bounds, and the offense will maintain possession.
Man, that's one of those where you just go, dadgummit, if we had a little bit more space. Nice job creating the fumble, but just running out of real estate, not able to land on it. Man, you just get a little bit frustrated because you wanted that turnover. You caused the fumble. You just couldn't secure it.
Fires to the right.
Boy, and that might be the break this defense needed right before the half. You're down. You need to make a play. They can't score any more points. This one could get out of hand now. You have set your offense up right before the half to maybe close this gap.
Back to throw. It's short. He's going to let one fly down the middle. And he's got it inside the 10. He is down at the 1. A terrific run after the throw and catch. The big explosive play put him right on the edge, but you got to finish the deal. Trying to run it in. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Maryland!
And that's a touchdown this offense absolutely had to have to keep it to a one-possession game before going in at halftime. That touchdown is going to do wonders for this team's confidence.
Kickoff unit is out there again, and this crowd is feeling themselves after that last drive. On the run from inside his own 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. UCLA will go back to work on offense. Now you find out just how much of a gunslinger you are. Will you roll the dice here late in the half, Dave?
And you know the defense is going to be really, really conservative, so I think it's an opportunity.
Oh, he's got some space. He's at the 40. The 20. And he ran away from the defense to take it in. Touchdown, Bruins.
Man, what great offensive execution. You talk about addressing a 2-minute situation and using almost all of the clock, adding to your lead and creating more momentum going into the half. Great execution by this offense.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. They'll use a timeout right before halftime. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. And it looks as if the offense will just take a knee. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. They'll come out and take a knee, and that should send us to halftime. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. And the Terrapins will send out the punt unit. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. Surprisingly makes a fair catch just outside the 40-yard line. The Terrapins will kick it away first, and we'll start the second half. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. The UCLA offense is back on the field, ready to go to work. If it's working, why change it? And that running game was working in the first half. I imagine we'll see a lot more of it here in the third quarter.
And you just know the offensive line was telling their coordinator, put this on us. Let us continue to go out there, push these guys around. We can put this game on our back and end this thing by running the ball.
And this is a manhood question for this defense. Like, as a defensive lineman, and you're pounding the rock, like, I got to physically rise to this challenge. This defense has to play more inspired and more physical in the second half.
He tries to take the top off. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. The Bruins will call on their punt team. The punters have had the day off up to this point. First one of the game. Out comes the offense as they get set to take over. Scanning the field, it's short. Thanks to Brad. They get him at the 42, but he picked up 10 there. And the Terrapins come to the line in the hurry-up.
A nice passing game by this offense. The quarterback and the receiver on the same page, in time, in rhythm, creates the big play. Right back on the football, ready to run another play.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. Slicing and dicing through this defense, and they've got it down to the 23. The Terrapins come to the line after ripping off that huge gain on the ground, trying to keep it going. And fires complete. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. So now it's second and long. Off play action.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation of time to be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone. That was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
UCLA will go back to work on offense. They still have the lead here, Jesse, but this would be a good time to put together a drive.
You're right, Reese. You can't rest easy right now. You just watch the opponent drive down the field and score a touchdown of their own, so you've got to answer that here.
Defense grabs it. There he goes. They drag him down pretty quickly. Defense forced a big turnover. Great place to start for this offense. He's just winning that matchup in the slot every time.
And when you put him in the slot, Reese is closer to the quarterback. It's an easier throw. We can run in, we can run out, and really take advantage of his versatility of the guy in that slot position.
From the gun, the running back has it. Stopped at the 13-yard line as the drive continues. Going to work on second down in the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. To throw, it's short. keep it on the ground for first and goal. He'll be brought down at the 5-yard line, and this defense is on its heels. Second down, they'll go to the air. They take the lead with the 6. That dude's really big. How in the world did they lose him?
He's down here. He does a lot of blocking. You play a lot of man coverage in the red zone. And what do? You peek in the backfield, and you lose the big fella. I don't know how he lost that big of a guy, but he lost it.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. The UCLA offense is back on the field, ready to go to work. As it turns out, the fumble on that last drive set up the touchdown, David.
And there's no bigger stat in football than turnovers. You turn the football over, they turn it into points. Jesse, that is not a recipe for success.
Good news, though, they get another chance, right? They can make amends with this drive right here. That's all that's important. You've got to execute, and you've got to lock in.
How many ways can I get it to my running back who's a baller in space? This is a really good job. Just toss it to him, right? I want to throw it to him. Yeah, I want to run up the middle, but I want to get it to him as many ways as I can. Toss it to him, get him on the edge, do a good job sealing the edge. He'll do the rest. Just give him the ball in space, good things will happen.
Gonna run it. It's Wood. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
Single back formation, and they give it to him. And a nice solid pickup there before the defense wrestles him to the ground.
And winning first downs is a priority for a defense, and you can't get bludgeoned. You can't get physically beat at the point of attack. You know the percentages. It's usually pretty good on first down that they're going to run the football. So then getting that big chunk, getting in second and short, not a good job by this defense.
And the Bruins lining up, just needing a few tough inches on third down. They'll try to get outside. Pushing for room at the 30. Breaks into the open. And he eluded the defense, and he'll take it all the way. Touchdown, UCLA.
Huge play. It's so nice to have guys that can create these explosive plays like this. You hand it to him, he can do the rest. Look at the speed, look at the elusiveness, get into the end zone. Nice run.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line.
Defense team, keep it moving.
They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. Pass is straight, and still on his feet. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line.
Defense gives up the pretty big run. They get the first down, and listen, you got to reload quick now because this offense, they got their foot on the accelerator.
Back to pass, it's short. In the middle of the field, and it's complete. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And the Terrapins will hustle to the line.
And after that long completion for the first down, did you see everybody sprinting to the line of scrimmage offensively? They want to go tempo right now.
And that wasn't a big game, but look at the offense. Right back on the ball, ready to call a play, ready to go fast.
Fine play action. Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46. Get a pass rush like that, and the Bruin faithful will give you an 8-clap and a heartbeat.
They'll get jacked up. They'll get excited. I mean, you think about a defense. You got to get those guys up front. You want to dominate college football. You want to be in the mix. Find those big defensive linemen that can make plays.
And down he goes. The defense making a huge play, but there are penalty markers out. Let's sort it out. You can grab, but you can't hold on. A defensive holding penalty will give this offense a first down. The offense comes back out with a new set of downs after the penalty. Here's the they come to the line. Release by the QB. There to make the tackle, and with that, we'll head to the fourth quarter. That's the end of the period, and it's UCLA in the lead. They're sitting in a strong position here with the lead. Let's take a look at our game summary. When you're dealing with a deficit like this, it's all about somebody stepping up to make a play, and you might as well start here in the fourth quarter. So we open the final period with a third down play. Looking downfield, it's short. They get to him as he throws. And that'll be incomplete. They certainly weren't afraid to take a shot there, and now it's fourth down.
Man, the defense smells blood in the water. You can tell. They're getting to this quarterback over and over and over. They've already sacked him a couple times. They're just winning up front. They almost got another sack.
And they got him. A sack denies the try to convert on fourth down. Really important for a ranked team going into a hostile environment like this one, not to give the underdog reason to believe.
Yes, reason to believe, and don't give the fans reason to get jacked up and
Turning it on! They finally get him stopped, and this veteran junior running back comes up with a nice play.
Man, it's so nice to have a guy that you can depend on. Like, this offense is built around him for a reason. Just a good running back. You can see, gets north-south, doesn't dance, picks up positive yards, breaks tackles. He's just a really good player, and that's why this offense runs through.
It's a point in the game, I think, as a coaching staff where you really challenge your offensive line to go win the football game, right? We've got to lead late. We're going to run the football. And the defense and everybody in the stadium knows that's what's going to happen. Can we run the ball down their throats and impose our will? That's what this offense right now is trying to do.
They believe they can run right here. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
This is a defense that we know takes tons of pride stopping the run. That's where it all starts and ends with them, and you saw a great effort on that.
They'll try to pick it up on the ground. Powers through the defender. Works his way to the 4-yard line, and they'll have it first and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. They went right back to him, and this time the defense was all over him. Nothing to show for that run.
And how about the defense on that play, man? Playing aggressive, fast, downhill, first and goal, expecting run. Great job fitting the run.
Touchdown, Bruins! Quick strike through the air for the score. That one ought to give them firm control of this game, and they have gotten things going here, about to move to 4-1.
And, man, a lot of times late in games, you see offenses, they get very conservative, very predictable, and then they leave it in the hands of their defense. I like this execution, man. The offense continues to do what they do, and they take the 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, everything going in their direction.
Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. What a turn that last drive was. Didn't pick up the fourth down, and it led to the scoring drive.
And those are frustrating because you think you might get points, and then the defense gives up points. This has got to be a complementary football type deal. The offense now needs to provide a little spark and give this defense some hope.
No doubt, David. They got to turn the page, and they've got to play with a little bit more urgency here, knowing they've got to get that one back. What a good drive again.
He's got it. And they pick up just a few on that completion. The Terrapins headed quickly to the line. Looking to throw, it's short. Completion on the out. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one.
Yeah, and that's one of those where you just look at the coverage. You look at down the field, taking away all the options, making sure you don't throw that ball downfield to get the first down. The only option, check it to the running back. Now I close that space. Nice job tackling.
He's going to let one fly down the middle. Incomplete on fourth down, and man, did they need to keep that drive alive. UCLA will go back to work on offense. They keep it on the ground. Clock is in front.
football. I want to put my quarterback in great situations if I do throw it. Low risk, keep that clock moving, get a few first downs. And if I get a few first downs with that clock moving, I get the W and get out of here.
Now the play fake. That's caught. It's O'Connell. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain.
Nice job there by the defense, not forgetting about the fullback. He's not just a lead blocker. He can catch the ball in this offense, too. They were aware of that, and they were able to make the tackle.
The Bruins come to the line on third down, trying to keep this drive alive. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down.
And I think third and short is the perfect time to run RPOs because I can give the football or make the read, but I got to make sure in these situations I'm accurate with the football either way. Wasn't accurate with the football, and now you got a fourth down situation.
There we go. And that'll not only be a first down, it'll be first and goal from the 7. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. And the Bruins trying to get a touchdown on first and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. Looking for the end zone. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, UCLA! As they push that lead out, a really good opportunity to get back in the win column. And no problem on the extra point as they push the lead to 19 here in the fourth. Precision blocking up front created the open lane, and the running back followed it beautifully.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow an offensive line that makes those holes and just gives you a caravan all the way to the end zone. What an unbelievable job blocking up front.
Motion from the wideout. Makes the grab over the middle. Makes the grab, but not quite enough for the first down, but a good gain on that play.
Well, and here's the problem offensively. Because you're trailing by so much so late in the game, the defense now is going to be playing big zone coverages, and they're going to allow you to throw the ball underneath in the middle of the field, rally to make a tackle, and bleed the clock. It's going to be hard now for this offense to claw their way back in this one.
And the Terrapins come to the line on third and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. Dropping back, it's short. And a missed opportunity on third down as the defense knocks it free, and fourth down is coming up.
And it's going to be difficult for this offense, man. Just where are they going to find the plays? You can tell the defense sitting back. They're playing nickel. They're playing dime. So we need some receivers to step up, make some yards after the catch, some contested plays. This offense has got to do something, and they got to do it quick.
Desperately wanted to convert on fourth down, but couldn't do it. Couldn't ask for better starting field position for this offense. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. Squeezes out a couple of yards down to the 32. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. The play action fake. Pocket breaking down. Can't make the connection. The pressure there caused the missed timing.
And we need more of this from this defense, man. They have let this guy have too much time to throw the football. They haven't gotten that jerk.
A shot toward the end zone. Touchdown, Bruins! And the pummeling has started. Things a little more comfortable after that score, and much, much closer to a win here in week 5.
Yeah, salt into wound, right? Late in the fourth quarter, you can run the football, run this game out. No, sir. I'm going to continue to pad my stats, find my receiver out wide, and get me another touchdown.
And the play will stand after the replay booth just does a little double checking to make sure. They'll try to add another to their lead. And he knocks the extra point through the uprights. That lead just keeps getting fatter, and this kickoff team doing a little running. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Maryland has the ball back, and the Terrapin offense ready to go. Let's go! Let's go! Handoff from the gun. He's knocked down behind the line of scrimmage again, and this just hasn't been his day. Nowhere to run. The Terrapins now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. And he runs through one tackle and picks up a few. And the Terrapins come to the ball trying to pick up this 3rd and short. To the air. It's short. He wants a big play here late. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
Well, at this point, you're still trying to throw stuff up against the blackboard and see if it sticks. You're down by a lot of points, so why not try it, right? And give the offense credit. You know, you're not just going to run the football. You're not just going to take a knee and go into a locker room with your tail between your legs. I like the fighting spirit, just not enough of that today.
Looking down the middle. Makes a catch. 1st down and maybe a lot more. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep them from getting the 1st down.
Here we go, here we go.
Looking downfield on 1st down. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
And that play is a microcosm of what this game has been. They have not been able to protect their quarterback all game long, early or late, up front. Moving
Their game stopped just short of the end zone, but they're in business here with a 1st down.
Showing off the explosiveness, the big play down the field. This is so big because what it makes defenses do to react now. Now you scare them. Now you make them react a little bit. So that big passing play opens up this whole offense. And you got to get locked in the red zone. A lot of defensive coordinators, they'll tell you, we'll give up yards, but we got to understand what we're trying to get accomplished. Great job down here near the goal line. This defense bowing their neck up and getting a big stop.
This has been really good for the defense, too. It's kind of a bend-don't-break mentality, right? Really bowing up with your backs against the wall. If you can win this next 3rd down, try to force the opponent into a field goal. That's a win if you're on defense.
And they take it in for 6 more points.
And a nice touchdown. Continuing to fight, continuing to play. This one, it's pretty much over. Down multiple possessions this late in the football game. It would take a miracle, but nice job by this offense. Continue to fight, push the ball down the field, make plays.
And he's going to bring it out of the end zone. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. The UCLA offense is back on the field, ready to go to work. And now one of the most satisfying moments in football, just watching that clock drain away while you have control of the ball, Jesse.
And this is definitely one of the best play callers, right, for an offensive coordinator. Getting ready to go into victory formation. So many good things happened today. It seemed like everything...
The defense making a play to put an exclamation point on this one, and that up to do it. This offense has it with really good field position. Looking to pass. It's short. Makes the grab on the left. They'll use a timeout with 26 seconds left on the clock. The Terrapins with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Looking to fire. Just had to get rid of that one. Good job to avoid the loss.
At this point in the game in the 4th quarter, it is going to be tough for this offense to get some completions here because now, trailing by this much, the defense is expecting pass, and they're putting a whole bunch of extra DBs in.
Rush coming in high, and they got him at the 29. The offense uses a timeout, 20 ticks remaining.
It's pretty obvious. This defense came into this one knowing they were going to have to play a complete game until there were zeros on the clock, especially against this quarterback. You cannot take your foot off the gas, and that's exactly what they're doing here late.
Fires deep toward the end zone. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. Got room on the return. He's inside the 40, the 20. Touchdown, UCLA. And they turn it into a defensive score. That one ought to to give them firm control of this game, and they have gotten things going here, about to move to 4-1. They get the timeout, and the clock reads 3 seconds.
And that's a great job by the defender there, back in his own end. He knew he had to make a play. He jumped the route, caught it, and he takes it all the way back. Forget flipping the field. How about scoring a touchdown?
From the gun. Pulls it in. Knocked off his feet.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to go, why do you run the route short? You know, like you got to run that route into the end zone so when he catches it, he gets credit for the 2-point play. But they're stopped short, no points.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. One more play to pad the stats. Looking for a man. It's short. And they got him. Didn't have much of a chance on that one. And a fitting way to put a capper on this game. Plenty of fireworks in this one. A lot of points. They always talk about having the chalk last.